What's going on, everybody? Nick Daniels here, coming at you live, man, yet again. And today we're doing another dating app in 2022. And today it's Plenty of Fish. Stay tuned. So Plenty of Fish, I've been on this dating app there. I've made some videos on it here, definitely over the years. One of my most popular videos, it's like 69,000 views. Is actually reasons to not use this dating app, which you can find up top. There's also been some other ones where I did a fake female account, also going to be tagged. And we've done that a few times actually. And just in general, just videos coming back to it and taking a look at it over the course of time. Because it's always interesting to come see these apps after so many months or whatever, and just to get an idea, what's going on, maybe something new. And I will say the live streaming feature was definitely something new, which again, you can find up top. And definitely something I didn't expect. So naturally, throughout this video, we'll be talking about like the account setup, the payment system, like messaging in a nutshell, all the features of the app in general, the live streaming, and then of course how to delete the account and move on to another dating app or something like that. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. The account setup. So the account setup is actually pretty straightforward and pretty easy. I'm actually quite thankful of that. Kind of mentioning before, eHarmony, Match.com, the other sites like that, can kind of take a little bit out of you when you're kind of just sitting there answering 30, 40 questions at a time. Again, the eHarmony one would have been at least 20 something minutes just to set up an account. So very, very time consuming, but Plenty of Fish, pretty quick. And it's all standard questions that you get asked. You are asked your salary, which is interesting. And you're also prompted to be like, my parents are like married. I am the firstborn out of two. It's very, very down to the wire, which I think is kind of interesting. In your profile too, you get like a headline where you can have like a little cheesy line or something. It's not very many characters, so you get basically just a sentence at best. But yeah, a lot of people will just write, like looking for me, like something silly, but just enough that there's something there. Honestly, that's fine. You get limited in pictures. I think you can upload like 6 or something. I think that's the most an online dating profile even needs, is 6. So there's we'll get into it, but there's a feature where you can pay. Or you can pay for their services here on Plenty of Fish, which we're going to get into in just a moment. And naturally, of course, one of those features is to upload more photos, which, again, in this situation, it just seems wasteful. So yeah, profile setup, pretty straightforward, pretty easygoing. What gender are you? Apparently, they can't figure that out anymore. Stuff like that. So the live streaming service is actually an interesting one. Now, again, I have done a YouTube video on this, several actually, in fact. But the live streaming service, I think, is very interesting. So you have 2 real features. You can either live stream yourself, which I did, and then recorded it. And you can like talk to people. You can have like group calls or something. There's like a one-on-one battle kind of thing. I didn't really understand it. I would just talk to them. And it just puts you up with anybody in those situations. It looks like you can also just come on and just talk. But I don't really think I'd sit on a dating app and just try to live stream and go like play Halo. It just seems like a weird situation to me. The other one too is you can like drop into a stream and you can obviously check it out. And a lot of them to me are just like really low quality. They'll have conversations. One of them there, the guy just starts mouthing off. I might just play that clip now, about Joe Biden. And I thought it was just really funny. Like they're just really not entertaining. So you can send like gifts and things to them, and I believe that you have to buy tokens, which we're gonna get into naturally when we talk about the payment system. But the token currency, like I just don't understand, especially with the gifts in general, because I don't know if they can like, since I haven't really done a lot of the live streaming, if they can like redeem that or not. But either way, I think the live streaming is an interesting feature, and I think it's cool. And it's also across multiple platforms, so it's not just Plenty of Fish. So I believe it's the Meet Me group. I could be wrong. I'd have to go back to my old video and get that information, but it is in there. I think I did look it up. But basically, there's a company that like owns up basically, I think, most of these dating apps, like Meet Me. I don't know, it could be Zoosk, but a bunch of them anyway. And it put them all together, and it said, okay, we're gonna have them all live stream on all of them. So if you go like, I don't know, maybe say like OkCupid, I can't remember if they have it or not, but if you went like say to live stream on OkCupid, it would also pop up on Plenty of Fish, right? So you're like, it's like a cross-platform live streaming, just so that way they get more users and such, right? Because obviously if it was just Plenty of Fish, it might be a little limited. Also in the live streaming, I don't think it comes up by region. I think you can search that, but naturally it's just going to come up with anybody. So you're going to have like anybody, any region, anything. So keep that in mind. But honestly, pretty cool, and I'm not opposed to it. So one thing I do notice though on a lot of these dating apps when I remake them, I'll remake Plenty of Fish once in a while, just for a meme usually, is you'll come across a lot of the same profiles that have just kind of been here. So the thing about Plenty of Fish I don't really understand is it does give you, when you're like going in the general search, it does give you the idea like when someone's online or last online roughly. So you do get an idea. So it's interesting to see like, are these people just leaving their accounts and not deleting them? Like just logging out of the app and like deleting off their phone. I don't really know. So it's just a little interesting because yeah, you'll see a lot of the same accounts, like a lot of them. And unfortunately, from at least the male's perspective, a lot of them are a lot of single mothers, and it's rather unfortunate. I think Plenty of Fish has kind of got a bad rap for that. Not that necessarily it's a bad thing, but it is just what it is. Moving into the female side of things, though, they are absolutely bombarded with messages. Now, we've done this a few times on the channel, where I've kind of gone in on a fake female account I made and just wanted to see what kind of attention is she going to get. And sure enough, man, you get slammed with messages. Now, I mean, it is also like most dating apps. The only difference, remember, is that Plenty of Fish, you don't have to match. You can just send a message to somebody. You can just cold message somebody right out of the blue. And it's interesting, right? So you got to keep that in mind. The difference of that is the male might not be getting any messages, but the girl is going to get so many that it's like, what's the point, right? Like, you're just getting, like, suffocated. And it can be a bit much. Especially a lot of the messages are just jacked, honestly. So naturally, we're going to move into the payment options here. It's my favorite part. So one of the things that's actually not listed on the things that you get with the payments, and this might have changed, but a little while ago, several months ago at least, I ended up hearing, and I'm pretty sure looking into it and even tried it at one point, males could not send messages anymore to women. So the guys were unable to send messages, and it was a paid feature. You had to now start paying for that feature. So you used to be able to just send them, like just send a picture with no context or nothing. So a lot of dick pics were just flying around right on the website. I got them, and it's just not really a good way, obviously, to start open a chat. So they ended up restricting that feature, and then women could still send messages though, and guys had to pay for it. But however, I don't see it in the premium list. It might not be something, and it might just be also like a hidden, oh, you got to upgrade, right? So the features that apparently you get with Plenty of Fish, and actually we'll also talk about the boost as well and the tokens. But we're going to talk just real quick. We'll talk about the general features. So you get to see who likes you. So there is like a matching system, which we'll get into in a moment. And you get to see who likes you. You get unlimited likes through that. Unlimited first contacts. I don't really understand what that means because I've just cold messaged people all the time on Plenty of Fish and had no problem. You get a username search. So like each person has a username. So like mine might be like, Nick1Steel. Just as something I made up. So you could search that specifically. First look at new members. So like fresh accounts that come in. Extended profile viewing. We'll get into that. Read receipts, naturally, like someone's read your message or whatever. 16 images on your profile. Probably a waste. And apparently there's no ads. So ad blocker would just make no sense to install and not have that feature. So I personally think that these features are really just a waste of time, and I'll explain why. So in Plenty of Fish, there are a few tabs that you have. You have like an online tab, the Meet Me tab, My City. You can search. really search is all you're ever going to use, because you can just search. And again, credit where credit is due. They have a lot of little preferences that you can type in, you can put in, and really get a little specific, and nothing is locked. So that is like behind a paywall. Really good feature. All dating apps should have that. But you can search in and you can see like people online. You know, you can look in the profiles. It's really good. It's a great thing. So really, in my opinion, username search, likes, all first look at new members, even the extended profile viewing are all a waste. Because the extended profile is exactly what I mentioned earlier about the, are your parents married? Are you the first kid? Are you the only kid? What's your salary? Kind of thing. It's like literally, can't even talk. It's literally those three things. That's the extended profile. It's an absolute waste of time. I don't want that. I don't even need that information, and I don't want the information. So you can have it. I'm okay. Yeah, the matches on here are absolutely a waste. There's really no point. I don't use it at all. I just go in the search and I just start looking at profiles. That's all you do. All you do. It'll show you all the profiles that are around. Perfect. That's what you need. And you just go in and message them. What's the point of having a matching system if you can just message them? There's no point in matching. I can just message you. I don't have to match you. So there's no point. Also, for that reasoning as well, the My City tab is useless. What it does is it just shows you people in your city, which is fantastic. I go in there, the first woman that comes up is a 72-year-old woman looking for a tall gentleman. Like, and there's not a preference there. It's just going to show you anybody in that city. So you're just going to, like, it's an absolute useless tool. You would just use it for searching to get the range you want. Okay, I want 24 to 30. Perfect. And I can search that specifically. I can get the distance. I can get everything, right? Waste of time. A lot of them, like again, I think just a lot of these apps and sites and all that, I really think that they just try to add features that just don't make any sense, and they don't really look at it that way. They just look at it like, hey, we're adding features. And I mean, yeah, that's fantastic. You're adding a feature, but it's just not a feature that I really think is useful, or going to be used, because, like, again, like, what's the point? So you might be wondering what this is going to cost you. Well, of course, we're going to find out. So, when I went to do this, it actually had I had 52 likes apparently on my profile, which I think is hilarious. And it actually tells you that at the top. It's like, hey, you've got 52 likes. So it's trying to, like, entice you a little bit to try to get that. So the 12-month, 6-month, and 3-month plan are available. Naturally, we don't see anything under a 3-month, like a 1 month. I like when they even do like a 1 week. You can just try it out. So I really hate that. It really forces you to just pay more money than you really need to. So the 3-month plan works out to $23 a month and is $68.99 with $9 in taxes. That's how it's written here. So I just assume that they're putting on $9 onto the $68.99. I could be completely wrong. I don't know if there's $9 in the $68.99 that are taxes. I don't know. The 6-month plan is $103.49. Which is $17.25 a month. We're not going to talk about the taxes. No point in that. And then the 12-month plan doesn't jump up a whole lot. It actually just goes to $137.99. So $103 to $137, which is actually for another 6 months, which is interesting. And it works out to $11.50 per month, which, let's be completely honest, I don't actually think that that's terrible. The features that you're getting with it are terrible, but the actual pricing is not that really bad. Like, that's okay, right? Like, if you did the 12-month plan, and I'm not saying you should or shouldn't do it, but if you do that 12-month plan, you're only paying $11.50 a month. That's pretty okay. I'm actually not opposed to that. So I will give it to the Plenty of Fish team that the pricing system's not bad, but really should still drop down a lot, because I just don't really think you're getting a lot with that. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's that's just how it is. So the tokens are an interesting system, and I didn't really understand them too well, but here's what I've kind of grasped. So I think you can use them in the live streaming as well, like you can send something with them. But it works out to 3 systems here. You can either get 10 tokens for $22.88. Apparently you save $20, it says on the top. I don't believe that. $17.99 for 5, which really doesn't work out at all. Like if you think about it, you're paying $2.99 a token there, and they're paying $1.99 for the 10. I don't know. It's interesting. Like it's just not that much cheaper. You'd rather just get the 10. And then one token works out to $4.59, so it's actually $3.99 per token, and then obviously taxes onto it. The tokens you can actually use to boost your profile. So boost isn't something that you go buy. You buy a token to then use for boost. So that's why I think you can also use it in the live section as well. I haven't seen like a super like or anything, so I don't assume that either, that you can pump that into a super like. I really don't think you can. There might be an option for it, but I find some of these sites just kind of hide it. One thing I'll talk about too there briefly that I think should be mentioned, and really, if anything, I think a good thing, is there's two options there. There's a notifications, which I think is hilarious because it's like, who cares? But you get a little notification thing at the top, so you can kind of see like, okay, like did someone like me? Or whatever. But in the messages tab, so in the inbox tab, you'll actually have your conversations listed. So if you get like a match, if someone messages you, they'll be there, and you can go into them. But you can actually click the tab at the top, and you can see who you sent a message to. And I think that's actually kind of cool, because you can actually go back in and like re-look directly at those profiles. You can even go back in and see your message history, which is nice as well. And it should be there as well. But you can open that up and see, okay, look, I've messaged this person. Okay, perfect. So it's kind of nice in that sense. And again, credit kind of where credit is due. But I think that's more of a baseline and should just kind of be there. I think some of these things really should just exist, especially in Plenty of Fish. I find it definitely is more of like an older school. It is an older school site, and it kind of reflects it. They have upscaled it. But it definitely used to be more like almost like an email, you know, like it wasn't as flashy as like something like Tinder. And I don't think Tinder's that flashy, but Tinder's more modern. You know, you're constantly in that IM, you know, you're sending those instant messages. And I think POF was a little bit more laid back, in that sense. What else we got here? I got some notes over here, so that's why I always look over this way. If you guys are wondering. So we've pretty much talked about most of what I have wanted to say. Deleting the account, naturally, we'll finish up there, and then we'll do a recap. So deleting the account, as usual, deleting the account has to be on the website. It's got to be through a browser, so that's fine. And you can do that on your phone, too. You just open up a browser and do it instead of the app or something like that. The app's fine, too. I don't have any problems with it. But anyway, I couldn't seem to find it yet again. I go into my profile. There's no like settings, or anything like account management. And maybe I was looking in the wrong spot, but I just don't see it. I went on Plenty of Fish. They had their own article on how to do it, and it didn't actually explain it. It just like mentioned it. And again, I just don't understand. Like maybe I missed something. So I actually had to use I had to go through a couple links, and I ended up finding one that actually took me to the Plenty of Fish delete your account. And it used to be a little bit worse than this, and I'll explain what I mean by that. But when you go to delete it, it's going to ask you like 3-4 questions. It's going to be, how many dates did you go on? Would you recommend Plenty of Fish? So I always just say 0, no, and then whatever. And the last thing, you have to put your reason for leaving. And that's kind of funny. Like it'll be like, oh, like I had a date. It's too expensive. And then one of them just says, I give up. So I always do, I give up. And then it used to, and it doesn't anymore. Maybe it was too triggering. After that, even if you didn't put I give up, like you put a different option, when you go to delete the account, it would actually like confirm to delete the account. And the confirmation would say in like, it would be like a big text, you know, with like red around it or something. And it used to say, I give up is what you had to click. Like you had to give up. And it just, like, it's hilarious that, like, you're giving up, like, you're throwing in the towel. Because I don't think that is it at all. It's just a dating app that's just completely outdated. And in my opinion, doesn't really work as well as any of the other ones. In kind of a recap, yeah, Plenty of Fish, I think, it's just been around for a while. And I think it slowly just stopped getting as serious as the other ones. You know, like, people stopped taking it as seriously. You know, I wouldn't say it would be more of a joke, but it definitely got to the point where I think people just kind of stopped using it, and they were like, yeah, whatever, and it kind of went with that, and it's got a reputation. You know, you talk about Plenty of Fish, man, and in my opinion, I don't think people talk about it too highly. I think they're kind of like, yeah, whatever, and they just don't really, like, nobody's gonna really use it. They're just gonna be like, yeah, it's cool, and they're gonna let it go. That's Plenty of Fish. It's really just something, in my opinion, it's outdated. I'm surprised it's still around, and I just don't really think it's used that much. The user base isn't terrible. It's actually half decent. There's a good little number of people on there, but yet again, you're just gonna fall into the same problem. I think that you're eventually just gonna run out of profiles, and you'll just be looking for those new accounts constantly because you're gonna be like, well, who's left a message? Right, the same 10 people I messaged and nobody answered. And you'll know because they view your profile and you get the notification and then they never message back. So, thank you so much for watching, everybody. We're going to hopefully keep these up and we'll see you in the next one. Take it easy. Peace. Thanks for watching, you pencil pushers. If you guys want to check out my Instagram here, I've just got it in the background. It's Nick Daniels Photography with an underscore in between each word where I post every day. That's a lie. Thanks for watching. Peace.